Hey guys! Okay, so let me explain. I was gone for almost a year, which is a bit too long. Sorry. Spirits Excel is not ending. I'm not gonna stop reacting to Spirits Excel. I love Spirits Excel. But I'm sort of refreshing myself on what I've seen already. I've been watching through like my own videos to see. So, I'm just getting up to date. In the meantime, like I said before, I keep like bumping into my drawer. Sorry. I really want to have a concurrent series running along Spirits Excel pretty much at all times. And for the past few videos, which again were like 9 months ago, sorry about that, have just been Spirits Excel. So I want to like mix things up a little bit since I'm back. I have for you Super Mario Brothers DX. As I understand it, this is like a much more average like this is like what people it's not centered. This is what people think of when they think of like SMB lookalike series, like SMB like copycat. I don't know if this is good or not. I don't think I've seen most of it. I think that there's like controversy with this creator. I think like a couple years ago, they made a previous version of this that was even more like Super Mario Bros. Z, which is great. That's telling, like they had a vision for a series, they made it, and then they buckled and remade it because like it was seen as too close to something else. That's not a great sign, but who knows? And like always, I'm approaching this from an angle that most people don't with these series. Most people want to see like fight choreography, and I'm the only person in the fucking crowd who wants to see writing. I want to see writing. And if this has good writing, then it'll make up for everything. So let's have a look at this. Let's see if Super Mario Bros. DX is any good, and if the creator is watching, whenever I make fun of it, I just know I'm not acting in bad faith. I like all things. It's okay. I promise that I could never hate a Sprite series enough to legitimately like be mean to it. If I make fun of something, it's either like it's supposed to be like funny criticism or it's just me making a joke. I swear I don't hate nothing. I'm a very polite fella. And if Sky's watching, sorry, I'll get back to Spirits Excel. Love you. Your series is cool. I really will watch all of it. Spirits Excel is great. I gotta give it the attention it deserves. In any case, this is Mario Bros. DX. Let's see how it is. Whoa. Oh my god. They've got like a logo that they got from like a website. The Chaos Emeralds. So I guess this is all another... I didn't even know that this was a Sonic thing. I think I saw someone say Mecha Sonic in the comments, that's the only way I knew. But like, I didn't know that this was going to be like a Mario and Sonic thing, I just thought it would be like a Mario thing. Which probably would have killed my interest a bit, honestly. I do prefer when Sonic is involved, I do love me some Sonic. They got Tails and Knuckles in this, it can't be that bad. They're using like an English anime opening. No lyrics on screen though, that's sad. They're using like custom Bowser's and Dead Story RAWKED sprites. I kind of wish that that SMBZ had done that. I kind of don't like when they use Paper Mario sprites mixed in. Like, I'm fine with some style mixing, but that's like crazy style mixing. I guess the hard-boiled heavy's in this? I guess that's fine. Oh, weird. That's a weird eye design for Mecha Sonic. I guess it automatically gives him more like character because it looks more like a pupil. Oh, he's got like 2 eyes. Ew. Ew, okay, I rate that low. I rate that lowly. Sit. Excuse me. I forgot this was a thing. I know I've seen this intro before. I must have watched like at least one episode of this before, but what are they doing here? What? I'll reserve judgment. Perhaps the Sands and Papyrus plot is just fine. Maybe it's okay. But, a bit much. Also Dark Sonic, seemingly. Metal Sonic as well. I'm glad Metal Sonic is here. I appreciate when people use more Sonic characters, because most SMBZ likes that copy the source material, like, basically wholesale, aren't really, like, fans of Sonic. Because there's, like, 1% Sonic in, SMBZ. It's just Sonic, Shadow, Eggman, and Mecha Sonic. Everyone else died. Which is such a fucked up plot point, if you think about it. Like, all of Mario gets to live, and all of Sonic dies except for the 2 characters that show up. Look at that panning. Sorry, parallaxing. They're using the 9-bit The Yoshis. I keep forgetting they changed their name. That happened like 8 years ago. I should probably start remembering. I love the 9-bit Yoshis. If I had anything to complain about, it would be that their snouts are a bit too square sometimes. But it's fine. It's a cute sprite. Wow! Ah, she loves me. They've got the super happy tree. Look, mommy, Yoshis. Look, mommy, a really ugly Yoshi. I hate that he has hair. It's so nasty. He sure is. Toadette's a mother in this series. Like, they don't say a Toadette, they don't say Toadette mother, they say Toadette. That is the Toadette, she's a mother-in-law. Who did Toadette... You know, what happened? Who did that with her? These are the real questions. Alright. So far animation is up to scratch. That's my name, huh? Let's see where this goes. Let's see what they do with the little special effects. Because I imagine there'll be an exciting event transpiring here in one moment. She is very nonplussed about it. She's like, okay, I guess. Ah! This does seem to be like a much more like a much more flamboyant version, a much more dramatic version of the opening to SMVZ. Oh, I remember commenting on this at some point. I don't think I've reacted to this before, but I do remember saying like I think it's interesting that they show the transformation sequence for this character on the thing. Maybe I like tried to record a reaction video that didn't work. Maybe that's what happened. Oh well. Oh, the classic Metal Slug explosion. I have like an emoji of that in my server. Uh-oh. How horrible! She had a child! What did he do that for? He didn't ask for a Chaos Emerald, he just killed her. Already, there's like a lesser amount of motivation than in the original. I say the original as if this is meant to be an SMBZ remake, which it kind of is. More 9-bit sprites, I recognize that question block. And the Riz Troopas. The old ones anyway. Which, you know, to be fair, do look more like Koopas than the new ones. The new ones are very specifically like Superstar Saga redesigns. Hey guys, look at this! We just did this scene! It got it out of order, this is supposed to come first! Let's go on G-Bay and check it. Oh, I see. G-Bay. Goomba's portrait is like squished vertically. He's like shorter. And so is Koopa's! I hope that's not gonna be a thing for everybody. I'm getting married and my fiance- Dude, he's dead. He's so dead. I'm getting married soon. Oh, congratulations, man! Megaslug shows up. Die! Okay, I wonder if that'll happen. Let's find out. Goomba spiked. I appreciate the distinction. First, of course. Okay. I don't know if this is like a real- I don't know if this is a real thing that people think you can do, but that's not like proper grammar. You can't just like remove spaces. I also think each other isn't like correct, but people just do that all the time. I'm not sure actually. Out of my way, Mennonite! Reference to YTP. Everyone go watch. What the fuck? That's really dangerous. He'd probably get killed in one hit. Bring it, you spiked funk. That's not much of an insult, but sure. I think it's interesting that people still call Goombas mushrooms a lot. Despite the fact that I think they're canonically chestnuts. Is that a thing? Or is that like fake trivia that was invented by Digital Gaming when I was like 5? I don't remember. See, this is what he should have been doing. Why did he kill Toadette? Did she have a fucking Chaos Emerald in her hair? Waiter, my portrait doesn't match my sprite. Ouch. It wouldn't be that hard to edit the art. You just made them like red dots. You can just put a red dot in there. I will say, at least it's a different Mechasonic. I may not really like how it looks in comparison to the usual two, but it's different. That's a good thing, objectively. I feel my power level rising. Only 6 Chaos Emeralds left and I will be an unstoppable force. That's decent exposition. Dude, don't do that. Not the soccer Koopa, dude.
You don't know what you're up against, friend.
Look at that.
Come on, bring it.
Also, this does not match this portrait at all. Strange dialogue. Oh, how dramatic. What's that gonna do, man? It's a damn ball. It's a weird sprite for that ball. I can't even, like, tell what it is by looking at it. I wouldn't have known unless it was, like, attached to a guy who was clearly, like, a Mario Strikers reference. He popped it! That's really mean. That's like what a cartoon... That's what, that's like what a cartoon villain does in a show that's, like, about, like, regular kids in a suburb. Like, they can't, like, show violence, so they're like, I'm gonna pop your soccer ball! No! Some out-of-place explosion? Sure, why not? Oh my god, what the hell? Sudden horrible violence. Not even, like, just the skeleton, like, the blood on it. Toadette was treated to a nice, tasteful, like, cut to black. This is like, oh, we get to see this Koopa's corpse, like, bloodied. It's a little dark. Dare I say. Oops. There we go.
Hello.
Oh, it's the Mario Party guy. I wonder where these sprites are from. I don't recognize these. Also, once again, we're opening on the tournament fight. I'll say it, I understand that starting with a tournament with lower stakes is more, like, thematically appropriate for an SMBZ. But I think it was really interesting and creative that the original SMBZ started on a race, which, you know, wasn't going to be a thing that they repeated until the car chase in episode 2 of the reboot. But it was different. It was different than the entire rest of the series, which was all fights. So I'd say there's value in that. Oh, what? Kirby's in this? Oh yeah, I feel like I remember, like, leaving, like, leaving an annoyed comment about how this was handled. Kirby is, like... Kirby gets a lot of love in, like, sprite fight culture, but Kirby never gets full series like this. So I was really annoyed when they, like, super underutilized him here. I'm realizing I've seen this before, but I haven't seen the rest of the series, so it's fine. We can count this as, like, a pseudo rewatch, because I really don't remember a lot of this. And I wasn't, like, trying to, like, be so critical last time. Yeah, so here's why... I guess we'll find out. Well, I'll get back to Kirby when we get back to Kirby. Right now we have to deal with Bowser. Bowser in his castle. The classic SMBZ Bowser Castle, once again. Like, it's literally just like... It's one thing to take all the concepts from SMBZ, but you're literally taking customs made for the series. Like, people recreating, like, backgrounds from SMBZ. Like, the Mushroom Tournament Arena, Bowser's Castle. Like, it's fine to be an SMBZ fan series, but it's another thing to be, like, an SMBZ fan series. Like, only, like, SMBZ. Then again, you know, I kind of have to respect, like, I want to take this thing that I like and make it more to my liking. I mean, I'd probably add more Sonic characters too, I can't even blame them. A tournament? How come I haven't heard about? How come I wasn't invited? Because of you always play games unfair too. Script editor maybe. Might be necessary. Okay, it's stealing the Mario Party line. Bone soup in a hot pot. I'm beginning to see why people are critical of this. Like, it is very clearly, like, just openly an SMBZ ripoff, as it were. Huh? Finds Chaos Emerald in wall. Is that actually what's happening? He can't do that. He can't find the Chaos Emerald in the wall. Oh wait, I remember this! This is like an open ripoff of, like, the 1 minute melee with Bowser Jr. There's like multiple shots that are, like, recreated almost shot for shot. Oh, I forgot about this. There's gonna be like a shot where like he looks around with his eyes and it looks exactly the same. Okay, this like script is like... Yeah, see, there it is. This is like exactly from 1 Minute Melee. They're just like, oh, I saw them do this and that, so I'll just do it. It's like fine. It's fine to take techniques. It's just funny that it's like they're putting in Bowser Jr. and it's basically just the exact opening for 1 Minute Melee. Why don't you use the paintbrush? It's cool. Thank you. I didn't know he'd do that. It's been forever since I used my magic brush. The last time I used it was in Super Mario Sunshine. Do you remember that game? Yeah, I do. It's okay. I'm a Mario fan. Nobody who's watching this series needs to be, like, reminded that Mario Sunshine exists. It's okay. I promise you that everybody watching Super Mario Bros. DX, unless they're, like, a React-tuber who doesn't know what's going on, is, like, a Mario super fan. It's okay. I wish there were more Sonic-centric series of these. Like, I know I'm complaining about this already, but, like... I'm complaining about something that isn't really this series' fault. But, like, after SMBZ started the trend of, like, having it primarily be Mario-based, it's just always been like that. If anybody has any, like, sprite series that are, like, very specifically Sonic-based, or just, like, anything other than just Mario, I will happily look into it, because I'm very interested to see that. I'm very into Sonic lately, and I want to see more Sonic stuff. See how people write them and all that. And especially Kirby. Believe me, I know there's no Kirby. If there was Kirby outside of Spirits Excel, I would know about it. But if there is, and I'm just stupid, then please inform me. I think someone linked me like a really bad-looking one. Maybe I'll look that up. I don't know. Fix it. Is Bowser Jr. gonna like start like dumping brick and mortar and like layering it very meticulously? You have servants for that. It's not the kid's responsibility. If Bowser found out you were making his kid do busy work, he'd probably be mad at you. I imagine it's a only I can order him around kind of situation. The wires are burned up. Well, thank God for that. The wires are burned up. You couldn't bother to make like a sprite of the clown car that just looks broken? If he's gonna fix it with magic anyways, it doesn't need to be believable. It could be like broken in half. I broke it last time I used it!
Oh yeah!
It's good to be back. What do you mean good to be back? Poor guy. Sorry about that, Havoc. The button... my finger slipped, huh? Don't do it. Found it. Envelope tool. The rare and elusive sprite series envelope tool. They don't do that very often. I used it in Trock when I was like ripping off Scroll Kid. By the way, I know that no one's watching this that knows about that, but I ripped off Scroll Kid for a Trock entry once, and he saw it, and he doesn't know what Trock is, so he was just like, "Why are you ripping me off?" And I was like, "Fuck, I'm sorry. He was supposed to be a tribute. This isn't like a sprite series show. I was just making a reference to your video." I felt so bad. My fucking idol, my number one sprite fight guy, and he was like, are you like stealing my shit? And I was like, oh god. Maybe if I'd been funnier in 2018, I could have made it more obvious. Oh well. It was only 5 years ago. Well, well, well. Never thought I'd see these faces again. Like, why are they all acting like everyone's been gone for a while? Bowser Jr. is glad to be back. Bowser's like thought he'd never see Wario and Waluigi ever again. Is this like a post-SMBZ world? But it can't be, right? Because Mecha Sonic's here for the first time. He's being very generous here. He's paying them up front. They could just leave. It should have been like... Oh, what's this? I just don't think he'd be that generous. He'd be like, join me to kill Mario and I won't roast you alive. And they'd be like, okay. That's what they sound like. Yeah, see, Bowser loves his son. He doesn't care. Don't mention it. That's not the usage of don't mention it. That's like a... It's like a smarmy replacement for you're welcome. Oh well. This is another thing I forgot about this series. He uses, like, cards to decide which, enemy he's gonna use. But it's kind of, like, inconsequential and arbitrary. They don't offer any interesting mechanic to the series. It's just how he chooses. It's like if he rolled dice and then, like, PD Piranha showed up. Like, wow, it's PD Piranha. I wonder which one it is. I actually don't remember. Is it actually PD Piranha? We'll find out. Okay, so back to Kirby. Also, Mario's lost a lot of health there, wow. If I can complain about Kirby's involvement in this series in a moment, he's used as the, like, throwaway first fight, the same way that Wario and Waluigi were at the beginning. Kirby, like, sucks in this. He's only in, like, 2 scenes, and he doesn't, like, do anything but throw punches. Which, guys, I don't know if you know, but outside of, like, Smash Kirby, and I guess Fighter Kirby, but he certainly doesn't look like that here, he doesn't do that. Whoa, whoa, my god, he does not look like that. Oh my god. Whoa. That's some crazy fucking Tumblr fan art of that guy. Anyways, Kirby doesn't, like, throw punches. That's not a thing he does. He runs around. He should have, like, sucked up something and, like, gotten a power. He could have sucked up a rock and gotten Stone Kirby. I would have been fine with that. Just anything. Okay, so now Rockhawk is here. I think we're meant to be under the impression that he'll eventually come back in SMBZ, but clearly this guy wasn't patient enough for that and was like, I'm gonna put him in myself. Because it would be really weird for him to show up in that scene in SMBZ if he wasn't meant to, like, show up later. It's like a character Chekhov's gun. Like, wow, really? This guy who's, like, good at fighting in a fighting anime shows up to commentate on a fight and then never shows up again? Yeah, I doubt it. But in this, it's just like, no, he's gonna be a fighter, which makes more sense. I almost wish that he'd been the first fight instead of Wario and Waluigi, but, I mean, it certainly was funny. And it gave them a lot more involvement than the last series. Yeah, they're like, they keep delivering dialogue here that's just like, Oh, I see. I like that joke. They keep delivering dialogue here that seems like it's meant to... There's a lot of ideas here that are good, but they're just not being written that well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all of the characters kind of have the same voice, if I were to complain a bit. Like, none of them have any particular quirks to the way that they speak that's, like, you know, indicative of them. Like, Bowser isn't like, oh, my son walloped you and beat you up, lol. He's just like, haha, my son beat you up again. Like, alright, anyone can say that. Any of these characters can say, my son beat you up again. There's, like, Bowser-isms that are missing here that would be in SMBZ, you know? That's the one thing... That's the one thing, Mr. Mark Haynes always had above everybody else, was that he knows how to write these characters in a way that feels, like, pretty true to the series. I really wish there were more writers in the sprite community, but because they're all, like, Flash animators, they kind of spec into that. It's hard to do both, it really is. You kind of have to be really good at what you do in order to make a good script and a good animation. Which is generally why there's, like, there's usually people who do one or the other. Ian Flynn only does scripts. All those, like, YouTube animators who went on to be, like, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Animaniacs animators, you know, they were always animators first. Same sort of thing. And that's not to discredit people who do both, because there are plenty of people that do. Lots of people who make, like, Adult Swim shows started out as both, you know, doing, like, independent stuff. That doesn't make any sense. Give me Fatality? Are you, like, abandoning Grandmother just to make a Mortal Kombat joke? Whatever. Anyways, and also, like, speaking of Ian Flynn, Evan Stanley, who is also on the RC and IDW comics for Sonic, she is pointedly good at both. That's good. It's nice that there's, like, people on the on that book again who can, like, write and, like, pencil a whole issue by themselves. That's pretty cool. We haven't had that since like I think the early Archie days. That was a weird animation. That didn't really like seem like he was thrusting his feet out. He just kind of like moved his arms and then Mario flew off of his feet.
Whoa!
Also, not to be mean, but all of these toads are skewed, and that's not how turning works. They're not all Paper Mario characters. You could just use like the 3/4 sprite, which you have because Toad's using it. The character. Look, he's using it right there. Also, it's Blue Toad. I didn't realize that. Mario lives, so there's no tension. We can all see that he's okay on the board up there. Yeah, why is everyone surprised? You can see that he's got health left. Did they think he was knocked out? I guess he could have knocked out. Don't Netflix and chill just yet. Did an AI write this? I know it didn't. This was made before that was easy. It's weird how much AI progressed in like just a couple of years. It's very upsetting, if anything.
Brace yourself.
Also, it really makes like all previous AI content really funny in retrospect. Like, for years, AI was in this weird state where you could sort of almost make it do things, and then suddenly it was really good. So everything from like the past like 5 years, like if you go to Kerry KH's channel, all of his old videos are like, I almost made a AI rap,
Mario.
kind of. Okay, Luigi's cheating. He didn't get invited here. This isn't his match. Penalty. Luigi's defending you. Oh, but I guess there is also some interference here. It seems that you're having fun without me. Yeah, Bowser would definitely not dress that up at all. That's definitely like as flat and boringly as he'd say it. This is my problem with most of these sprite series, is that because they prioritize animation over basically everything else. Excuse me, animation and spectacle. So these scripts just end up being like SMBZ without the character. Without like the fun. The reason people go back to SMBZ and the reason it's like such a joy and it gets so much attention compared to all these other series isn't just because it's like the first like relevant one. It's because like it's the only one that knows how to like write characters. And all of these other shows are just like a compilation of characters fighting each other with like boring dialogue in between that like only the creator understands. I didn't mean for this to get so negative. Now I kind of hope the creator doesn't watch this. But I am going to watch the whole series, so, you know, we'll see where that goes. There's always the chance that they'll improve it from here. I keep approaching this like this is current, but this is like a couple years old. For all I know, SMBZ, or SMB, no. For all I know, Super Mario Bros. DX is like good now. And this is like a couple years old and outdated. So, you know, anything could happen. We'll see where this goes. I just have to imagine, like I have like a mental image of this person like doing all this in Flash with like a Cliff Notes summary, like as their guide, and they're just writing in the dialogue like arbitrarily to move the scenes along and get to the next fight. And the problem with that is that I imagine the fights in this aren't even going to be that crazy. This is like our first real fight that we're getting to see. Everything else has just been kind of like cut off scenes. And I'm worried that this is going to fall into like the trap that a lot of these series fall into, where it's just kind of a lot of like big hits that don't really have any weight. I think I had that problem with Smash Bros. Mario Bros. Calamity. Calamity did that a lot, and it was a bit of a pain. But for this, you know, who knows? They do keep putting these pauses in, which they shouldn't be doing. Yeah, like that's a bit unnecessary for that. Oh, I guess they're gone. There should definitely be more hits and like less time if you want people to be really engaged. If you look at any sprite fight that doesn't have a plot attached, it's always just like crazy amounts of like oh, it is PD. It's always just crazy hits in limited time. Much more focused on choreography. But in series like this, it's all about like the cinema. So it's just like big hits that don't really like feel earned. I like that they're envelope tooling those cages for when they're in motion. That's a good technique. That's like actually cool. I actually appreciate that. See, like, even when I notice it, it doesn't feel like it's being overused. Not bad. Wow, great. How dramatic. He hit the cage. It's a cage! It doesn't need to be this big thing that he hit a cage with a hammer. Or that Yoshi put him on his back. Why were there, like fight effects for that? Why was that so dramatic? Like, it's like these people, it's like the Object Show problem where, like, for a long time, all people could do was flicks. All they know how to do in, like, these shows is do, like, these drawn-out dramatic motions that, like, don't make any sense. Like, Mario jumped there, and it still had to be, like a long ease out and ease in. What? What was that sequence? What's happening here? Why did he explode? Why is it all being blocked off by the bleachers? I didn't get to see that. Why is everyone so scared? They should be happy. Mario defeated an enemy. Oh. So did he beat him or what? Oh. Okay. This is reminding me of Super All-Star Bros, where it's like we have to bring in every character so we have both of the gimmicks. Wow. That doesn't look out of place at all. Also, that's a weird Yoshi sprite. Hey, wait a minute! Yoshi's not using his 9-bit sprites. He's using the the Super Yoshi DS, the Yoshi's Island DS sprites. Sorry, I keep stammering. Your fucking big sad eyebrows. But not this time. What? Oh, he has a transformation sequence? That's cute. I appreciate that. Why is Yoshi why are they amazed? He used the cape feather. They've never seen the cape feather before? It's been around for 20 years. Someone in the comments said that there's an ad here. Oh, never mind. There's like an ad early in the episode. Okay, well that's the first episode of SMB DX. I'm gonna be nice since like it's written by somebody else? They actually hired a writer? Okay. Well, in that case, I have to give applause because even if I don't like the script in this, it's an unequivocally good thing, like a very good thing that that they have a separate writer and animator. That's good. That's a really good thing. Oops. That's not a very common thing. Usually, like, you know, if you watch SMB Here's the Stars, it's all like written and animated by King Asilas, you know, that sort of thing. That's what's most common. In this, what do you know? They've got a different writer. That's a good thing. Maybe that means that the writer like has room to like improve and like become. Excuse me, what was that? Story based on Dragon Ball Super and Date Alive. I don't know what Date Alive is, but this is not based on DBZ Super. This is based on SMBZ. The entire episode is just Mario Brothers. Nothing's changed. In fact, it's like longer and more drawn out. In the original SMBZ, or not the reboot SMBZ episode 1 anyways, they get through the Bowser fight in one episode. They're much more they're much more like good with their time. And it was the same amount of time too. It was 30 minutes. So how exactly did you get all of this and still only like get this far in 30 minutes? Like, it's the same show. I can't be mad, right? People like this. People like in the comments people in the comments being like, "Oh, this is like reminding me getting up on Saturdays to watch SMBZ," which first of all, there's no way it was coming out weekly. But anyways, yeah. "Oh, this is so nice. It's reminding me of my childhood." That's cool. That's how most people react to these shows. But it's also like, you guys can still watch SMBZ, and it's still, you know, even if it's 5 years apart, coming out with new episodes. You don't need to watch this if you want to watch SMBZ, and you don't need to, like, watch things that are only SMBZ. There are sprite series out there, like Spirits Excel, that are trying new things, that are at least doing other stuff. And granted, most of the community is like stuck on like plotless fights, but it's still, it's still something you can get invested in that's not just the same thing again. It's like this like concept of like, oh, I need to watch this rebooted thing instead of like a new thing. I'm fine with it for the original SMBZ rebooting itself, but it's not like necessary to just make SMBZ over and over with minor differences. You don't need to, like, I'm sorry, but the fact that Sans and Papyrus are in this as Koopas is not really like good enough for me to like be like, wow, this is so cool and different. We haven't gotten to that yet, and for all I know, this will divert greatly, and I hope it does. But we'll see. Maybe there was like an outcry of criticism after this episode, calling Smashinity and their other friend out for making such a copycat series, for such a derivative such derivative content. Maybe they'll go in a different direction. Maybe they'll invent new plot threads. I'm sure they already were going to, because granted, SMBZ, both versions haven't really gotten that far. In SMBZ, they do like the bit with the they do a lot of the pipe maze and Doomship stuff, and I think a lot of that probably wasn't in Mark Haynes' original plan, because he said he hired on a writer that added most of like the superfluous stuff towards the latter half that he didn't really like and would probably change. He said that he'd probably bring back the Basilisk character in another arc, but like we're never getting there. Until Mark Haynes starts hiring out animators, we're never getting more than one episode per like 3 years at most. Which is really a shame. It's really a shame that SMBZ is like doomed to fail again. But like, I can't imagine he'll start like getting help from people. I know like he got like a couple people to do like really small things in the second episode, but none of it was animation. And I don't think he trusts anybody else to animate his show, especially considering he's still kind of the best. Like, imagine if I were to do it, right? I'm not a sprite animator, but I can animate fine. And like, that's all you need, I would just be doing, like, dialogue scenes. I can't do fights. And a lot of the people who do these shows also can't do fights. It's so weird. It's not even just that, like, there's, like, a weird dichotomy in the community. There's a weird dichotomy in, like, what people can do. People who make these series aren't usually that good at making fights. They just want to make a show. And people who do fights just make fights. They just do like Maple Riot and Hune's Dojo sprite fights, and if that's the thing they still do. I don't know if they still do that. And they do like just for fun Soul Ruin shit. By the way, Maple Riot on top. Everybody go subscribe to Maple Riot. Like horribly underrated for the amount of stuff that they put out. It's like a whole community of people doing sprite fights under the reign of the most based man alive, Sun.mp2. He rocks. He's so cool. And he's not he's not gotten enough attention. He gets views for his fucking Kirby analog horror series, naturally, because people love analog horror. But nobody cares about the other shit he does, which is arguably better, because the analog horror series is probably not written amazingly. I don't remember. It might be good, but I remember it being kind of like, wow, this very clearly is a guy who does animation first, because he kept doing bits that were like weirdly over animated for like an analog horror. I remember I had an episode on when I was watching with Ken, or Ken was just in call and I was watching it, and they were like making fun of it because they thought like the choppy sprite stuff reminded them of like Troc entries, and they hated it. Which is funny, because it's funny to imagine like a Troc entry analog horror. Anyways, let's see some more credits. They're using the Dream Team sprites for the outro. Really weird decision. CS3. Respect. I started on CS3. There's a lot of amenities in newer versions of Flash that I think people would really benefit from using in sprite animation. Like pre-made tweens are very useful. All of these people are probably also like people who are stuck in these versions are either using like 100 ease in, ease outs, or they're using like graph editor, which is fine. You should learn how to use the graph editor. That's true. But it is very like easy to not do it once you're later on. Paint.net, Aciprite, Audacity. It's funny that Paint.net and Aciprite are both here for the sprite editing. After Effects, Audacity, based Audacity user, Premiere Pro. It's funny to imagine. I have to imagine this person's, put on the eye patch for some of these programs because it's very strange to have Flash CS3 and then Premiere Pro, like current version. I don't know. And then Swivel, base Swivel user. I've been trying to move away from Swivel. I'm trying to get my hands on Media Encoder because I'm very sick of Swivel having that color loss. Not loss even. It's just like a different color. It like changes the value slightly. It's very annoying. Whenever I've been like staring at an animation in my Flash window for like 10 years, and then I export it in Swivel, and I look at it and it immediately looks different, I'm like, God damn it. That happened to me with the FNAF animation I made, and even that was like 3 colors because like it's such a because I'm using like that like Weaver's art style on that. It's like very limited on color. I really can't imagine those characters being colored in. Like whenever Weaver's done like a fully colored piece of the Bonnie, it looks very strange. Sprite resources. Okay. Smashinity, maybe you'll prove me wrong in the next slide. You can't credit DeviantArt for making sprites. The DeviantArt company hosts images and users post them. This is like crediting Google Images. I'm sorry, but if you're using customs from people, you have to keep a list of those people and credit them properly. You have to write down who's who. And if you use like a big sheet, like an Ultimate Mario sprite sheet by somebody on DeviantArt, they'll usually credit people for you. You can just copy and paste that list in. They'll have a list on the sheet that's like list of credits. So there's really no excuse. You have the list made for you generally. King Asilas probably credits people in his sheets if you're using his. I don't think you are, but it's same diff. You can't credit the mythical forest zone. You have to credit like I guess for things that are just sprite rips, it's fine to credit because like those people don't really. It's kind of a thankless job for those people. They kind of just ripped sprites that like Nintendo made, but it's still nice to credit them. It's still their sheet that you're using. You can't credit Mario Fan Games Galaxy. It's not one person. Come on, prove me wrong. Well, that was. I don't know why I was so convinced that he wouldn't do this. Why would you cuss it? Okay, no, but so are you crediting DeviantArt because people put sprite rips on DeviantArt too? Because if you're crediting custom sprites separately, okay, that was really confusing. I apologize. I was quick to judge. There they are. They're crediting everybody. Look, aren't I a fool? Oh, it's funny to put the Mania sprites next to the I appreciate that they're using sound effects from the song in conjunction with things. It's funny to use the Mania sprites in conjunction with Dream Team sprites because it's like script editors. So I thought Skylar was the writer. Whatever. Speech motion help. Did Mark Haynes like leave criticism on like the last version or like help you with this somehow? That's funny. It's funny that he seems like involved in the community just slightly. He keeps like showing up in places. Yeah, anyways. I keep like cutting myself off and like forming new thoughts and forgetting what I was saying previously. Sorry about that. I have the diseases in my brain. Music, don't really care about music. I can live without knowing what music it was. They're moving all over the world. There's no text for this part. Okay. This is a long credit sequence. Kind of a bit much. Special thanks to my inspos. Zachatex27 based. I would hope he's in the credits since you ripped off his 1 minute melee. Characters are created. Yeah, that's another good point. The other good reason that like the other reason why it was so important to like cut down the first episode of SMBZ into 1 episode instead of 2 was that they at least get to the point of introducing Sonic in the first episode that way. And in this is just Mario. We've seen Mecha Sonic and nothing else. Like, it's not really... It doesn't... See you next time. It doesn't flow very well. So, that's, like, fine, but... It's not great. Well, for now, I'm gonna stop it there. I might record another couple reactions while I'm here, but this is gonna be it for this video. Once again, no hate. I'm critical, but I don't hate. I ain't no hater. but I will. I'm not going to shy away when I think something could be improved upon. You know, and as the only person, and Planted My Flag is the only person who cares about scripts and sprite fights. I care about the script, and I think that this script needs work. You've got like basic ideas down pretty well, but they are also mostly stolen. And like the grammar needs work, and also the characters are missing like their own voices. And when I say a character like is missing their voice, I'm not saying like you're not using the right like audio sound clips. I'm saying that a character's voice should come through in their written dialogue. You should be able to hear it through their voice when you read it. And SMBZ does that. If you read Bowser lines without hearing like his voice attached to it, you can hear it in his voice perfectly. It sounds just like him. It's perfect Bowser dialogue, straight out of one of the RPGs. It's missing that edge in this. It's missing that little touch of Bowser and other such characters. I can only imagine what it's going to be like when we start hearing Sonic characters, because they have very distinct voices. They are very, very defined personality-wise. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, you know exactly what they'd say in most situations. Especially Sonic. He's all about his personality. So if they get that wrong, it's going to be very unfortunate. But we'll see. We'll see that next time. I'll do more Spirits Excel. I'll do more SMBDX. And if you have anything else that you want me to react to, 5 viewers, 2 people who are still watching after I was gone for 9 months and YouTube won't show you my video and your subscriptions, please let me know. I kind of don't. I mentioned this like in a Spirits Excel video, but I don't want to watch Power Star because that's like, first of all, I've obviously seen it. Oh, so actually, maybe they said Rise of the Mushroom Kingdom. Same thing, really same thing. And I'm not watching either of them because they're mostly devoid of dialogue, and they're also like, it's also really obvious that everybody's seen them already. I want like something you think that most people haven't reacted to, something new, or at least something weird or obscure, like a sprite series that's a little out of the ordinary. Basically, not an SMBZ like we're already doing one of those. Give me a Sonic series. Even if the Sonic series is kind of like SMBZ, give me a Sonic series, please. And with that, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.